good evening, everyone. This is Tanya Cole Lennon, and I am your host of True Gossip, where gossip meets truth. And tonight, we're going to be talking about 2024. This is the end show of 2024. And tonight, my guest host is Jamel Cole. Yes, that is my son. Say hey, son.
Hey, everybody.
All
What's
right.
going on?
And we're going to be talking about any and everything, from elections to economy to whatever you think that fucked you up 2024. We're going to talk about it. All right, Jamel, get us started.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think 2024 was a pretty, I don't know. Okay, can I curse on this show?
Yes.
I think it was a pretty shitty year. Like, I think like anything bad, like have you ever heard of what is it called? Murphy's Law? Like anything bad that can happen will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, 24 felt like that to me. Like, we got Trump as the president. The economy has tanked, like probably to the worst that it's ever been. Yesterday I went to go get some juice from the supermarket, like just a normal like quart of Minute Maid. You know that Minute Maid costs $8 a
Wow.
carton. Like, and I don't know if that's like, now I live kind of like in the hood, So like I don't know if that's a hood tax or if that's just like a general, like all around thing, but like it's insane because like when you listen to like the financial people at the top, like they act
They're
as
saying
if,
everything is great. Like the economy is
yeah.
great. Everything is going good. But they're saying that groceries are high, right? But,
Yeah.
but how can you put that into perspective when they're saying that the economy is great, people got jobs, stuff like that, people are making money, the stock market is good, but when you go to the grocery store, you can't even afford to buy baby milk or buy eggs for your family. Make that make sense.
I think the way you make it make sense is that they want everybody on assistance. I think if every I really do. Like,
I was getting some food stamps. I ain't lying.
yeah. Or like, like they've been playing with things like in California where like when you work for a company, the company pays for your room and board. So the company like owns all these properties and then by nature of working for them, like you have room and board, but like it essentially makes you a slave to the company. You're always on the clock.
You're right.
Like
Right.
so it's like, it's kind of like I think that's the world that they want, like where like yeah, like you can have all the luxury and freedoms that you're used to, but it's gonna come at the cost of being under constant monitoring, like from Big Brother, from corporate interests, from the government. You got to check in with your corporate overlords before you before you can do anything. And I think that
Right.
that's where we're headed, you
I
know?
believe that's where I don't believe that we're heading that direction, but we could be heading that direction. But I want to look at it I'm going to look at it from my perspective, right? And
Hmm.
you know that I work with people who are on disability. They get an SSI check or they might get SSDI, and they have limited funds, right? So and then they can't work a certain amount of hours, but the money that they're getting from the government because they have a disability is not enough to live. So they tell them they have to go and work, but they only can work a certain amount of time and
In
make
order
a certain
to,
amount of money, and
mhm.
they still can't live. They can't buy groceries. The apartments are too high. People have to move out, or they need a roommate. They need that second income. But I'm going to go even further. Why is it that apartment complexes tell you have to make three times the amount of the rent when the people in the office don't even make that much money? Make that
I
make
mean,
sense.
I think I can make it make sense. It's
Make it,
that
please. Make it make sense.
it's just that everybody like okay, we were just talking about how like the people at the top are trying to act like the economy is good, right?
Right.
But like truth be told, everybody feels
They
the
feeling it.
reality of the economy.
Yeah.
Everyone,
Everyone.
including people who are landlords, people who own businesses,
Right.
everybody feels So for them, like, despite what the forecast might have for the economy, I'm not going to trust that. I got to make sure that, like, my financial interests are in order. So I don't give a fuck that you can't afford it. I don't want nobody living here then. If you can't do three times, and I'll find my customer,
Okay.
because I know in this marketplace, I
Okay,
know
but
most
we have
guys
to,
are going to
but we're
default.
going to argue about this a little bit because we have to make it make sense and we have to make it fair. And that is not fair. And I'm
Well,
gonna
I don't know
let,
if we have to make it fair though.
wait,
Like,
let
we'll
me
say that.
let me finish. Let me finish, and I'm gonna let you go into this, right? The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm single. I make I make what they call middle class money, blah blah blah, right? So I don't have a partner. I don't have no other income in the house. It's just me, right? So they telling me I have to make three times the amount of the money for the rent. But thank God I can, right? But
Mhm.
you have people that are single that need a place to live, and they telling them that they have to make three times the rent. Rent, you cannot get nothing less than $1,300, and I'm in Florida, right? And
Yeah.
Florida's supposed to be cheap, but it's no longer that, right? So I thought about why don't they make it where, okay, you want somebody to make three times the amount. Let it be fair and let it make sense. If a single person is coming in, they should be able to make one and a half, maybe two and a half times the rent as a single person. Two incomes, maybe they should be able to make 2% to 3% of the money, three times the money. Let it make sense, let it be fair. Because you're asking one person, and in Florida, they don't my money, the money that I'm making is Maryland money. So my income is higher. If I was working the same job in Florida and getting paid in Florida with Florida money, I would not be able to do it.
I mean, I think that if the goal was fairness, then yeah, you have great points. But I don't know if that's ever been the goal of this country or this world was to try to optimize for fairness. It's not about what's fair, it's about what can I justify,
But what
right?
about what's right?
I can
That ain't right.
justify to you, huh?
That ain't right. But go ahead.
Yeah, but who said that I was trying to be right? I'm trying to like I think that we get things twisted because we have this moral compass within us that makes us feel like we can justify our own actions even in this world. But even for anything good that we can do, we're causing harm to somebody else. The luxury, like let's say that they were able to like offer everybody exactly the things that you're doing, but it came at the cost of America just continually working at a deficit, which we already do, right? Like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
work,
definitely. Right, right.
yeah, we're constantly so the way that we live, where nobody can afford nothing, already operates at a deficit. But then we're saying, okay, we need to open up the floodgates to allow for more. So, but already the lifestyles that we live today comes at the cost of, African children getting their arms and legs chopped off in order to like dig up the resources in order for us to have the computer that we're able to have the Zoom on. In order for us to like be able to enjoy cable network TV and stuff like that. In order for us to have internet and all this other stuff, it comes at the cost of people's lives that are outside of this. And because we aren't in direct contact with that, we get to hold the moral authority about like what we deserve and but like
Well, I'm not
our
talking
basic
about
standard of
what we
living.
deserve. Okay, I'm a scale back on that, right? Because I'm not talking about what we deserve and what we're supposed to have or whatever. I'm talking about moral compass, right? What is
Yeah,
right?
but
What is right for the human race? We're supposed to be America. America's supposed to be the country for freedom, equal opportunity, um, be able to make money, have your own business, and be
yeah,
able to
but
live the American dream. But the American dream, and that's what I want to go into, is not for the American citizen. It might
I
be for
don't think
the
it's for
people
anybody.
outside of America when they come and they have that American dream. Because America, Jamel, are you living the American dream? Do you get
No, there is no
resources
dream.
that
The
people
American dream
that
is a
come
falsity.
from out of come from another country and get all the resources that they get? We don't get those resources.
The truth is that those resources were taken from the very people who Those people who are coming to our country, we took those resources from them. So fuck them for wanting to come here and try to extract some of the value from the resources that we stole from them. Like, I don't blame them for wanting to come here and try to extract just a
That's not
little
what I'm
bit of
saying.
the
That's
dream that they
okay.
sold.
So that's
But
what I'm saying. So
but let's talk about the dream. I think the dream was always a falsity. It's impossible. The dream is fake. But as long as I dangle the American dream in front of people's face, you're going to constantly work and work hard in order to achieve
well,
something
I'm
that
going
is
to tell you
it's
like this: the American
impossible.
dream is not for the American people. The
I don't think
American
it's for
dream,
anybody.
no,
The
but it's
truth is
supposed
that
to.
even when
It
I
was
achieved the
supposed to
American
be.
dream,
It was
now the
supposed,
new thing is to get you to accept
but
me
it was
running
supposed to
you in the
be
American dream.
for all people, and it was supposed to be for people that immigrants that was coming in and they get the American dream. But let's talk about that.
It was never that.
Let's talk about the new incoming president of the United States, where he wants to deport the people who have that American dream, families. He already said on one of his on one of his interviews that they asked him a question. They said, "So you're going to deport everybody, right?" And he said, "Yes." So they said, "Well, what about citizens that married an immigrant and had children and the children are citizens?" You know what he said? Deport them all. Is that fair?
It's not fair, but it never was. Like, all I'm saying is like, let's look at Europe, right? Like right now in Europe, they have like this big thing where they're trying to get rid of all non-European immigration. Like they're having kind of like the same struggle that we're having here in the United States where they want to get rid of all of the immigrants or whatever, but of a particular tone, of a particular area. Like they don't care about the immigrants that are coming from European nations.
Right.
They only care about the ones, and they're saying that it's because, oh, they're bringing in crime, they're bringing in all this other
They're
stuff or whatever.
saying that's what Trump is saying.
But the truth is that the invite that they gave you has always been fickle. It always, like, this is time and time again throughout history. When they invited the Japanese here in order to help us with the railroads and stuff like that, they took away their rights to citizenship. They took away their right to humanhood. They started like killing them, like genociding them here in the United States, putting them in camps, right? Like the dream of immigration only lasts for as long as you're needed. And the moment that you're not, that shows you how fickle the deal is. And everybody fights for going back to that norm that they were living. But the truth is that was just like a promise that I only gave you while I needed you. Like they always take it away and they always show you that you're just a guest. So that's what I'm saying. Like this American dream shit is just what they sell you in order to bring you here. That's just what they sell you to keep you going. But it's just a means to an end because ultimately this country can't do it without everybody else helping them. So we have to sell you something. So they sell you the dream. They tell you that you can do this and they give you a deal. Like a lot of immigrants that come into this country, you know what they deal with? The same thing that countries deal with. Like they give you the dream, they give you all of these opportunities, these programs and stuff like that, but then you owe the United States for all of that money that they gave you. That stuff comes as a loan, not as a grant. They're not just giving you that money. You owe work, you owe military service, you owe something to the United States. So it's not fair. But no one said it was fair.
And
This
an
is a
exclusive interview with President-elect Donald Trump.
Listen,
He
okay.
joins Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker to discuss plans for his first few weeks in office, his cabinet nominations, and what he's hoping for in a second term.
Well, I want to find what I want to do is I want to find where he's talking about how he's going to get rid of the immigrants, right? Right? Deportation.
I heard that he's going to try to take like the families and everything. Like, and if you're a citizen even, like if you were
Right.
born to an immigrant, like you're
Right.
basically going to be you're going to be unnationed. You're not going to have a nation, I guess. I don't know how that works if you get deported from your home nation. But but yeah, I guess you're going to have a bunch of refugees, but like that's
And
going to start a
I'm gonna
war.
find it. But okay, so let's talk about all right. So we already talked about the economy where it took us into immigration and stuff like that. Let's talk about the election. I really want to talk about that because
Do you think it was stolen?
listen, Democrats, I'm like this. When Donald Trump didn't win, he said it was stolen, right?
Mhm.
And I believe that from that, we had that insurrection and all the other stuff, and he didn't even go and meet the Bidens. He just did not do nothing that was American, right? But he expects the same courtesy. So I have a problem with that. I have a problem that, that it says, do unto others that you want to be done unto you. And he's a Christian, supposed to be, right? But when Obama left office, he greeted Trump and his family, shook hands, gave over the power. You know what I'm saying? He did the power or whatever and gave it over and everything. But when Biden won, he felt that the election was stolen. It was stolen. He didn't give the same courtesy that Obama gave to him. He didn't want to meet the family. It was an insurrection. People got killed up there. It was bad, right? So now that he won again, the election is fair. But I feel because I'm going to let y'all know right now, I'm a former Democrat, because I am not voting Democrat no longer. And the reason why I'm going to become an independent is because I don't believe in you slap me on this cheek and now I got to turn over and let you slap me again. I find that like they don't fight back. They don't want to investigate. They don't want to see how Elon Musk was giving out millions of dollars for people to sign a petition and all types of stuff. I mean, none of that was fair. I feel that it was a rigged election. And I'm going to say it as a former Democrat. And I feel that the Democrat should be freaking investigated. Why did they just turn over and die? They just died.
What, you talking about once Biden gave up the election? What do you mean they died?
Just like, I don't feel like the Supreme Court, all the court cases that came against Elon Musk and Donald Trump, saying that what they was doing was illegal, giving people millions of dollars to sign a petition, all types of things was going on, right? But the Democrats is not investigating none of that. They feel that this election was fair. But when Donald Trump had a problem when he lost, he wanted to investigate. So I feel that even though, okay, you're going to transfer over the power and stuff like that, but I feel that they gave up too easily. They're not fighting for what's right. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but find out if what he did was illegal or not.
I think that it's a slippery slope, and that's why you're never going to find that investigation happening. Like, I think the slippery slope is that Trump isn't doing anything that other politicians aren't already doing. By investigating him, it starts to open up a Pandora's box to what else? Because who's colluded with him, right? He didn't do it by himself. Then when you start opening up those names, it starts to become
because he didn't do it by himself.
Yeah, everybody's afraid of who that slime might touch, and that's why they won't go too deep.
They gave it to him so easily, right? And then not only that, I don't even watch the news anymore. I used to love watching Morning Joe.
It's just it's theater.
And Joe went and kissed the ring, and I don't have a problem with them going to visit Trump in Mar-a-Lago, but my thing was, why did you do it secretly? Why didn't you give your viewers, hey guys, we're about to go down to Mar-a-Lago, we're gonna have a conversation? Why wasn't it transparent then? Why did you wait until after you did it, which you had to let them know that you was coming, they had to get the security and all the other stuff, and you had to get to go there. So it was a process.
Right.
So why didn't you let us know? But then you come back after the weekend that you went, oh, we went down to Mar-a-Lago because we wanted to go see Trump because I wanted to read the man. But you told your viewers after. And the reason why
you didn't have footage of the interview?
Right. It wasn't an interview. And that's another thing why we're angry about that and nobody's watching, because you went secretly. You didn't tell us that you was going. Then you come back. You tell us that you went. You claim you want to read the man, and the only reason why you did it was because you know Trump was going to put out his
But
tweet.
I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay. And this is where I guess I start to get on the crazy town of like becoming like a little bit of a Trump defender. Like, it's only when Trump started coming into office that that kind of behavior with the president has become kind of like commonplace or acceptable to like expect that like I'm gonna have a one-on-one face-to-face like all of this like we know the process, we get to have a sit down with the president, like all of that was always privileged and it was always like
Let me stop you. I have to stop you. The reason why it's a problem is because Mika and Joe was critical of Trump since 2016. They talk shit
sure.
about him. They
But
didn't
one of the
like him.
conditions to seeing him might be
They talk shit about him. They dogged him. They did all types of shit. He was a fascist. All types of shit they said, right? So
Mhm.
my thing is, now why didn't you
Why
have
would you accept a secret
an
meeting?
interview with him so we can
Right.
see? That's transparency.
Because I probably can't get that, right? Like access to Trump is not as
No,
easy
they
as
had
just
access
wanting.
to him. So you went there, but it was private.
Because that might have been Trump's conditions to meeting him. Trump has conditions. He's the president.
But
I could call if
so
you
why
call me and you
so
want to have
why
an
didn't
interview
you
with
tell
me
us?
as a celebrity, I can say you can't talk about
Okay,
this. It
okay,
can't be
so
on camera. You can't come through unless you follow these
my
conditions.
thing is, why didn't they tell us prior to them going?
Because that might have been a part of his conditions.
That's disgusting.
Don't talk about this
Well, you should
thing.
have went then.
Yeah, but that's on them. Now that's on them,
And they
right?
lost their viewers because I fucking gave up fucking MSNBC. I don't watch
Yeah.
them. And their ratings went down like 40% because you're not transparent.
But the truth is that news has always been theater. You know what I mean? Like I just think that now it's so much more apparent because Donald Trump is so theatrical. You know, like he's making everybody else react to him, and you're
And they
starting to
scared
see,
because he said that he's gonna get rid of all of them, that he's
yeah,
FCA on them, and he's gonna get rid of all the
and he's probably gonna do it.
Yeah,
And
he
he's probably gonna be
yeah.
within his rights, and he's probably not gonna be that wrong. Like he's just gonna be
Yeah,
crazy doing it.
so you feel that that's right to have?
No, I don't. I just think that it's business as usual. Like, so I don't think that it's any
We
more
might
wrong.
not even be able to do this anymore.
Huh?
We might not even be able to do this anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
But because it's not part of the FCC, he cannot do anything with this right now. But let him keep doing what he's doing. He wants to be a Putin. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to never have an election again. And
I think the truth is that people want a dictator.
Why?
Right? I don't know. This is what I'm noticing. Like I've always like you've just now you've just now come to the good side of being an independent.
Them people drank the Kool-Aid.
No, but I'm just saying you have just undrank the Kool-Aid and come to the independent side. But I've been talking about independent like since after Obama. Like after I started really getting into politics and stuff, I'm like, why do we keep just choosing the same two parties?
Right,
I don't
the same two
understand.
parties, right?
I just don't understand. Like, what chances do we have of having a third choice unless somebody just
We don't
starts
even
doing it?
pick the third choice, right?
Right? But the truth is that people want to be dictated. That's why. People just want to be dictated. Like, people don't have a problem with what Trump is doing. They just have a problem with the fact that Trump is doing it. Right? Like, they were perfectly fine when Kamala was talking about the same bullshit, just for the defense of the democratic policies and the democratic purpose. But she was talking about being just as much of a dictator, talking about like her hard stance on crime and all of these other things, talking about like how, you know, her plans for the war in Israel and the steps moving forward in Russia and stuff like that. She was talking about starting the draft all over again. Right? Like, so like she wasn't talking about doing something so different than what she was talking about, getting rid of all of the red candidates and her cabinet and cleaning up shop because things is getting crazy.
No,
right?
She said that she was willing to have.
She said she was willing to talk, but everybody that they talked about.
She said that she was willing to have Republicans in her cabinet. She said that. She never said she was getting rid of them.
But what I'm saying is
when it had red in her cabinet.
But what I'm saying is when she talks about she's willing to have red in her cabinet, she's talking about people that are willing to play ball with her. Because when they start talking about the names of the red candidates that they want there, right? Because this isn't about your choice, right? Like you said red candidates. Well, here's the ones we want. right? But you're gonna say no. No, I want the ones that's going to listen to what I got to say, just like every other president, right? I can't have a cabinet with people that aren't like listening to my every will. This is what they do. And it's been a slippery slope towards this since Obama, right? Like when we were on the side of like, and I'm a fan of Obama. I love Obama. I love the Obama family. Okay. But I think that is the trap, right? This is the trap that the white people right now that love Trump are in, right? When you love somebody so much that you're unwilling to see the problem here,
Right.
and the problem,
There it is. The problem that you're blind to what is really happening because
yeah,
you're so caught up in the person and not seeing what's really there. And that's
yeah.
why I say they drank the Kool-Aid. That's why I
But
say
we've
that.
all drank the Kool-Aid. My thing is, we all are willing to drink the Kool-Aid when the person that's handing the cup to us is someone we love.
That's deep. That's deep.
And that's all I'm saying. So I just want us to stop pointing the finger at each other and realize who the enemy is. It's the people who keep handing these fucking cups to us. But y'all keep drinking. And then whenever somebody says, you don't gotta drink the cup,
Right.
y'all call us crazy.
Right.
Y'all say, like, well, this is what everybody does. And the last person who didn't drink the cup, we don't see him anymore. And that's, like this is what you got. You make conspiracy theories about not being under subjugation. And it's maddening to me because I think it's more of a conspiracy to believe that there is no conspiracy going on. That's the craziest thing possible. There are so many moving interests. What is the possibility that no one is only vying for their central interests at heart and are in major forms of power? I bet you there's tons and numerous amounts of them. Like that's why we hate rich people because we think that they're pulling the strings.
I don't hate rich people.
No, I'm saying like that's why the common rhetoric is that like eat the rich.
Right. That's what they was running on.
Yeah.
He's only thinking about the rich and he only gonna give the tax cut to the rich and all the other stuff and things. I understand. Right. All right. So my thing is, where do we go? Where do we go from here? Right? Like, where do we go from this part? How do we get to where everybody is on one accord for the better good of the country itself? What?
I said, if I knew that, I would look.
I know we don't know the answer, but I mean, there got to be some common ground, where we can like figure out this because Trump is going to be our president for the next 4 years and maybe more if his cabin and he be able to do what he say where there's not going to be any more elections. You know what I'm saying? Because what he want to do, he's want to be like a Putin and like Korea, where they pass this down to their family and that it's all Trump family. The next person to be his son to be in line, and then the next person to be his son to be in line, and we have to follow orders, and we all have to live accordingly to how they want us to live and not have some freedoms.
But this goes down to like, I think the way that we get out of this, and maybe I'm wrong, because like maybe it's because I live like this that I can't get my own life in order, so maybe don't take this as advice, but I just feel that like the problem is we keep on saying that like we have to. You don't have to do shit. Okay, you don't have to do nothing but be black. Well, I don't have to be nothing but be black and die, right? Like, and if there's something that someone's trying to coerce me or force me to do, I can just say no. And yeah, that might come with consequences, but guess what? I'm fine with the consequences then because I refuse to be a slave to somebody that I don't want.
What if we're going to be a slave? What if he makes it where we're like Russia, where, we
that's a slave. To me, that's slavery.
Right.
To me, that's slavery.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. What if we only can get to watch one channel news and hear only what he wants us to hear? And we only can have as much money.
How does that happen? That only happens if you allow it, right? That means that we want that.
Well, the people that
that means that we want that because television, who populates the television? Who populates the internet? It's us, right? Like, how does one man stop us from doing what we want to do, right? Like the only way that happens is if some of us help him, right? Like if we continually like say, "Oh, it's not that bad," or we keep on.
What's happening though?
laughing at our
That's,
friends who are talking this rhetoric and
that's
stuff like that,
exactly
thinking that
what's
this shit is
happening.
a
People are
joke.
saying, "Oh, that's just how he is."
But
That's
that to
what he
me
is.
is us willingly walking off the
And
cliff.
they say more. They said the majority that voted for him was Hispanic men and black men. Like,
Yeah,
what is it that? Why would y'all vote for this man
backlash. This is the problem with
that don't
making
even like you?
this is the problem with making politics into a tribal like sport. Like this is the issue. It's
The
because
Hunger
there are
Games.
people
It was
who
like the
vote
Hunger Games.
just, huh?
It was like the Hunger Games this season.
Yeah,
Like it
but
was
that's the
crazy.
thing. Because it has become publicized like the fucking Super Bowl, the
Right.
election, people choose a team and they become
They
tribal
even
about
was
that thing.
both. They
Where
was
they will,
betting on it with
there were people,
Callis, whatever that.
exactly. That's how much of a joke our election is, that we take bets
Yes.
online for
Isn't
our
that
election.
crazy?
This is what I'm saying. That like there's so many people that don't even know what the policies of the people that they don't know what Project 2025 says. They don't know what Trump's policies are. They only voted for him to make what they think is like a woke liberal snowflake cry. They did it for backlash. They did it because they just wanted to make people that they see as repugnant feel bad about themselves. And that's what a lot of the men who voted, like black men, they said there was a large number of black men apparently that like voted for Trump, like at least like much different than the last election. And that shit is crazy, but it's backlash, I feel like. It's not that they truly believe in Trump. I think it's just that like they don't believe in the other bullshit. And they would rather make you cry than to let you win. And I really think that there's a lot
All
of
right.
that
So
happening in
I'm
this
gonna show you this real quick. Hold on. Let me see if you can see it.
Who is here?
Let me see if you can see this. I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna see how can you do it? Can I share my screen? Oh, share my screen. Tell me if you can see this. Share. So we only got a few minutes left here.
Mhm.
Can you see this?
Here illegally over the next 4 years.
Well, I think you have to do it.
Oh, yeah, why?
And it's a very tough thing to do. But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally. The people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. And we're going to make it very easy for people to come in terms of they have to pass the test. They have to be able to tell you what the Statue of Liberty is. They have to tell you a little bit about our country. They have to love our country. They can't come out of prisons. We don't want people that are in for murder. So we had 11,000 and 13,000 different estimates, 13,099 murderers released into our country over the last 3 years. They're walking down the streets. They're walking next to you and your family. And they're very dangerous.
The 13,000 figure, I think, goes back about 40 years.
No, it doesn't. No,
That
it's within the 3-year
13,000
period. It's during the Biden term. No, that was a fiction that they put that out. This was done by the Border Patrol. It's 13,099, and it's during the Biden period of time. And these are murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. You don't want those people in this country.
But you're saying something, sir, that's significant. I just want to make sure I'm clear, which is that you're saying, yes, you're going to focus on the people with criminal histories, but everyone who's here illegally has to go.
I'm saying this. We have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to get people that were taken out of mental institutions and put them back into their mental institution, no matter what country it is. Do you know that Venezuela, their prisons are
That's a lie.
At the lowest point in terms of emptiness that they've ever been. They're taking their people out of those prisons by the thousands, and they're drunk. And just to get back, because I know exactly what you're getting at. Number one, we're doing criminals, and we're going to do them really rapidly. We're getting the worst gang probably with MS-13, and the Venezuelan gangs are the worst in the world. They're vicious, violent people. And you see what they've done in Colorado and other places. They're taking over, literally taking over apartment complexes and doing it with
the problem here is that like when people like us hear that, it seems preposterous to us because he's not talking to us. That what he's saying out of his mouth is speaking to a section of America where it sounds like gospel. Like he's saying all the right words, all the right things that matter to them, crime, like all of, like all the things they believe that
But
they're
my
seeing.
thing is, I hear what you're saying, but my thing is, how is a man that comes from an family of immigrants that came here and had that American dream? Not only that, he's married to a Russian. So
That kind of
wait,
cognitive
wait a
dissonance
minute,
is what
but
America offers
but
you.
listen,
That's what
but not,
America does
but wait,
for
let me
you.
finish because we don't got much time. But my thing is, he's not only saying that he's going to deport all these people as criminals. He said in this interview that we didn't get to hear that he's going to deport families who are married to citizens, and if they
Yeah.
want to go, they can go with their kids.
Yeah, but
But
then
what
you're
about your family? Your
right.
your wife is an immigrant. Your son is a son of an immigrant woman. So
Yeah,
you're gonna
he's the
deport her,
president.
and she gonna go with her son?
They're an exception because he's the
Ain't that make
president.
sense? But it's not right. I get it. But anyway, hey everybody, thank you for listening. This is a recap of 2024, and we're not done. We're going to be back in a few days, and we're going to come back with some more information for you, and we're going to talk about what is America really like, and we're going to go into 2025 with all of the new news, and we're going to keep up to date on this. All right, guys? All right, Mel, take us out. What you got to say on this?
Happy 2024, guys.
So we're about to be in 2025, and hopefully, things will get better for the economy, for the people, for all people, because everybody should be treated equally. All right, guys, this is True Gossip. This is Tanya, and this is True Gossip, where gossip meets truth.